This week on Jambar TV, we'll discuss a record amount of grants achieved by the university. Then we'll preview a special Christmas event held downtown. We'll also talk about the women's basketball team and their return to the Beagley Center.
Hello and welcome into Jambar TV. I'm Reagan Hilton.
And I'm Caitlin McCarthy. YSU has brought in $15.8 million in grant awards for the fiscal year of 2022. Jambar reporter Cheyenne Gibbons has more.
YSU broke a record number of the total amount of grant money awarded to YSU. This surpasses the $14.4 million that was awarded last year. Sev Slambrock, the Director of Research Services, said this is attributed to the great faculty and staff here at YSU.
So it's actually our amount of submissions, and then of course there was also not every proposal is submitted, is awarded. So yeah, we have seen an increase in awards, an increase in award amounts, and definitely over the past 2 years.
These grant agreements are submitted by faculty, but they also benefit YSU students. Charles Howell, Dean of Beagley College of Liberal Arts, Social Sciences, and Education, said 2 contracts with Youngstown City Schools provide education majors with the experience in teaching.
Our students learn a lot about how to teach reading, especially in a community like Youngstown City, where there are a lot of very impoverished families and so forth. So yeah, that pretty much covers that first item, except that I'll say that this has an impact that extends beyond just the actual teaching.
Some grants, such as the $3.3 million Defense Logistics Agency grant, provide industry experience to YSU students. Graduate student Allison Ray explained how this grant has helped her.
I went from doing my undergrad here straight into my master's, so I don't have any industry experience. So having the experience here will definitely help me get jobs in the future.
For a list of ways to get involved with research-based grants, go to the Research Services website. For Jambar TV, I'm Cheyenne Gibbons.
Joseph Company International is the company behind the Chill Can. When they started work in Youngstown, they also started a relationship with YSU Athletics. Jambar reporter Christopher Gillett has more.
When JCI began working in Youngstown, they also started a business relationship with YSU, specifically the athletic department. JCI agreed to pay installments to YSU Athletics. They have paid a total of $115,000 to YSU Athletics. During the pandemic, they fell behind and owe around $185,000. Ron Strollo, the Executive Director of Intercollegiate Athletics, explained how the lack of funding has affected the athletics department.
All of our coaches have felt the pressures of doing more with less. The biggest challenge sometimes, especially in this last 12 months, is inflation. So the cost of bus transportation, equipment, all that stuff has gone up dramatically. So, our abilities, obviously get trimmed there. We don't have more resources, but, we've got to figure out, again, how to do more with less.
Strollo also said he was not interested in pursuing legal action.
We haven't got to that point. Obviously, hope we don't have to get to that point. We've been in conversations with him. Obviously, I think COVID has affected his business and some other things. So we have not set any dates or deadlines or have done any of that. So we're trying to work with him, and he's trying to do the best he can.
JCI is involved in a legal battle with the city of Youngstown. However, there is no case with YSU. For Jambar TV, I'm Christopher Gillett.
Construction projects continue to surround YSU on all sides. There is a new building on Rayan Avenue called the Watson Team Center. It'll be used by engineering competition teams who work with robotics, Baja cars, and more.
All of those concrete canoe teams, steel bridge team, all of those engineering teams that compete throughout the country, now they have a home. They were kind of spread out in Moser Hall over the years, and now they have their own home and workshops.
There has been some construction issues, but Hayden hopes it'll open.
President Jim Trussell broke a fundraising record by raising $24.1 million, the most raised in a single year, for the 2022-2023 academic year. The achievement comes after a record-breaking 7-year fundraising campaign called We See Tomorrow. The campaign raised over $126 million to improve student scholarships and campus facilities. Paul McFadden, president of YSU Foundation, attributes Trussell's success to his vision for YSU.
So even though we weren't in campaign anymore, under President Trussell's leadership, we had another record-breaking fundraising year, which again goes back to our donors believe in him, they believe in his vision, they believe in his goals for the university, and they embrace them with their support.
Go to YSU Foundation's website for more information on fundraising and student scholarships.
Students of YSU have been traveling across the country recently, and one specific trip landed them in the U.S. Capitol. Let's send things over to Editor-in-Chief Elizabeth Koss for details.
Thanks, Caitlin. Students of Youngstown State University were able to travel to Washington, D.C.'s Holocaust Memorial Museum in a collaboration between the Beagley College of Liberal Arts, Social Sciences, and Education and the International Programs Office. I was able to sit down and speak to Jesse McLean about some of what the museum holds and offers to students.
So whatever happened related to the Holocaust, as you progress like a screw through the museum, you go around and around. It goes 33, 34, like 36 was the Olympics with Jesse Owens. And then it continues on to when one of the first of the 6 death camps were established in Poland. Anything major for the Holocaust, that's the main exhibit area. And you work your way through down to the ground floor.
I also got the chance to speak to Nicholas Dubose, who's the coordinator for the International Programs Office, and he said that almost 65% of the students who went on the trip were international. Now, despite this being such a large number of student engagement, with over 100 students going, both McLean and Dubose confirmed that they did not know if the trip would be occurring next semester. I will be following that if it does happen again next semester, of course, but let's throw things back over to the studio one more time. Let's go to Caitlin and Reagan.
Mayor Jamal Tito Brown spoke to YSU students for Ames Ally Circle Series. During his speech, he encouraged students to sit on the front porch in their neighborhoods and be active members of their community.
I want you to go and sit on your front porch of your community by volunteering, by getting involved. You don't have to run for elected office, but I want you to be engaged. I want you to be involved. I want people to know who you are in that community. Don't just go to work and home, and not get involved in that community.
For more info on Ames Ally Circle Series, reach out to YSU's Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion.
Over the past few semesters, cuts have occurred across the university. Students of the art department have expressed concern over the future of their classes. Samantha Smith has more on the story.
YSU's art program has previously seen a number of cuts. Student and faculty are concerned about what this will do to students majoring in art.
Dana Sperry, professor of digital media and photography at YSU, said having less faculty in the department affects what courses are offered for students.
It doesn't feel orderly, and it feels like, at least from my vantage point from a faculty standpoint, I feel like our department's been like more people left than we needed to cut down to. And so now we're short-staffed, and we feel that way at least. And that is reflected, I think, somewhat in our course offerings.
Students have brought up their concerns about how much this affects their majors. Kaylee McBride, a sophomore interdisciplinary studio art major, explained her worries about her graduation date being pushed back.
It affects the entirety of my major, not only from being an art major, but having to fight with other people to get into the classes that I need to graduate. The reality that my graduation date might be pushed back because I can't get into the classes I need to get into, it's very stressful, and not knowing if there will be the specific class available, it makes it 10 times worse.
For more information on the art department, visit its website. For Jambar TV, I'm Samantha Smith.
The weather is finally getting colder this season. Cheyenne, how's the weather looking?
All right, thanks, Caitlin. The weather is going to be looking cool, but let's take a look at my weekend radar. So today on Friday, we'll see some clouds, but it's unlikely that we're going to actually see any rain during the day. Friday night, we'll see some clouds and some showers move into the valley, and the chance for rain jumps to just 70%. We'll see that rain carry into Saturday with a 96% cloud coverage and an increase in the chance for rain. And I'd say to bring out your umbrellas, but those might blow away with the wind speeds as they'll reach as fast as 40 miles per hour. Saturday night, that rain and the clouds will leave the valley and the wind will slow down to 28 miles per hour. Sunday will be our clearest day with only a 30% of cloud coverage and a 3% chance for rain. Sunday night, those conditions will remain the same. Now, let's take a look at my 4-day forecast. Friday, the temps will remain the same throughout the day with a high of 48 and a low of 47. Saturday will be our warmest day of the weekend with a high of 50 and the low will drop to 21. And after the rain throughout the day, you should be on the lookout for some ice. Sunday, the high will only reach 37 and will be our coolest day of the weekend with the low being 23. Monday will be pretty cloudy and the high will reach 41 and the low will be 35, and it's likely we'll see some rain that night. That's it for your weekly weather outlook, but you'll want to stay tuned after the break because Molly Burke will be in the studio with the latest in student life.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
Growing up, I love figuring out how things work, putting things together. I love being able to come up with an idea, design it, just the whole process of creating things. I go to school here at Youngstown State and my passion is 3D design. I chose YSU because all the equipment, the research being done here, it's like a playground for me. I'm Alex and I'm Y and proud.
Welcome back to Jambar TV. I'm Molly Burke. On Saturday, November 19th, the International Student Organization held its annual prom night in Kilcawley Center. I was able to attend the prom and see the excitement myself.
Students enjoyed a buffet of food, a DJ, and live performances. Tafazla Mapiki, junior biology pre-med major, is the president of the ISO. She said the prom is a signature event for international students, but this year it was open to everyone.
The prom night is a signature event. It's been there since before I was even here. So when I came in, I knew it was something that ISO does, and all I did was to see how people did it before. But then now as the president, I had to make sure that I start with defining the goal for this year. And the goal for this year was to make sure that we bridge the gap between international students and domestic students. So we came up with a prom, but not just for international students, for everyone.
After dancing in the decorated Chestnut Room, a best dress contest took place. Freshman English education major Roy Kim said he came to the prom to experience a part of American culture.
It's really American thing for us. Like we never had prom in my home country, like South Korea. So we wanted to experience the cultural thing, and I saw the poster that they have prom night. So that's why we entered here.
Freshman psychology major Kaylor Slack said she came to the prom to celebrate with friends from abroad.
I know the people that I came with, so some of the girls that I live with that are international students have never been to prom. So they were so excited to come, and it was so fun because we all got ready together, and it was like they didn't really know what to expect. So it was cool for me to be part of that experience for somebody else, because proms are like a big deal here.
The International Student Organization saw a record-breaking number of 160 attendees at this year's prom. For more information and updates on events, check out the ISO Facebook page.
Today, December 2nd, the Holiday Light-Up Night in Fleet on Phelps is happening in downtown Youngstown. The event starts at 4 p.m. and ends at 6 p.m. with the parade following the event.
I love that all of these downtown events are now simultaneously happening on the same night. It's going to be very charming, and we're expecting a big crowd.
The parade will feature 12 high school bands and floats. Kids can take pictures with Santa and see the lighting of the tree following the parade. The Youngstown community can also enjoy live entertainment and the business's window decorations on West Federal Street. Graduate student Suman Devkota has been working on creating a new solar cell technology that has potential for other applications. Threshold switching is a new technology used in solar panels. It gets rid of the need to make cuts in each layer of the semiconductor. Devkota's research was published in the Electrochemical Society Journal and was the highlight of the American Physics Society conference. Devkota explains how this process works through a demonstration.
Basically, go through introduction on what is photovoltaics, threshold switching, how I prepare my sample, what is my experimental setup, what method I used, what are the results, and what's the conclusion, what's the future of the right? So photovoltaic is an effect that converts light energy to electrical energy.
For more information regarding the threshold switching research, go to the electrochemical website. With the winter weather approaching, it's important to make sure your car is as prepared as you are. Daniel O'Connell, Director of Support Services at YSU, explained what areas of the car are important to check.
Number one is our tires. You need to check the treads, you need to check your air. Some people consider snow tires and will put snow tires on the winter. Today it's a little different. I think a lot of the tires are all-weather tires, and so you're good with them if you have the proper tread. So that's number one. And two is your general maintenance. You want to make sure you do your oil changes on time, and this is the time of the year you want to check your antifreeze and make sure you've got enough antifreeze in.
There is also a free air station located in the Wick Avenue parking deck for students to check their tires. The Parking Services office is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Stick around after the break because Guy Tepsick will be back with all things sports.
The communication department is much more than media or delivering a speech. The YSU Communication Department offers programs in telecommunication, journalism, and communication studies. We inspire creativity. We encourage each student's passion. We explore new and advanced technologies that connect the human race. The communication programs at YSU ensure that every student is prepared and experienced for the outside workforce, for life after YSU. Join the Jambar and find your voice when you tell the next big story. Become a host of Rookery Radio and gain hands-on experience, or get involved with TV productions like Light the Wick, Penguin Rundown, and Jambar TV. YSU's communication department is much more than a department, an education, or a degree. It's a home for passionate individuals, for students to find and pursue what they love.
Welcome back to Jambar TV. I'm Guy Tepsick. Before Thanksgiving week, the football team faced a must-win game to have a chance at the playoffs. Executive producer Kyle Willis has more on their regular season finale.
With one final playoff push, the Youngstown State football team played host to Southern Illinois here at the Ice Castle November 19th. In their last meeting last November, Youngstown State overcame Southern Illinois by a final score of 35-18.
On senior day, the Salewskis jumped to an early 14-0 lead in the first quarter after 2 touchdown passes, but the Penguins got on the board following an 8-minute drive with a touchdown from senior Jaleel McLaughlin. No team would score again until the fourth quarter when Southern Illinois extended its lead to 21-7 after a 48-yard touchdown pass. YSU responded with nearly 200 yards of offense to score 21 unanswered points. McLaughlin gave the Penguins a 28-21 lead after a 22-yard scoring run with 35 seconds left in the game. Senior Marcus Hooker would seal the game with a second interception on the afternoon. With the team's season in limbo after the victory, head coach Doug Phillips said it needed to control what it could to keep its playoff hopes alive.
We play in the toughest FCS conference in the country. We won our last 5 out of 6 games. Don't matter how you win, but we found a way to win the last 5 out of 6 games.
McLaughlin finished with under 100 yards rushing for just the third time this season with 84, along with 2 scores. He said this proved there were other playmakers on the team.
It just shows that there's a lot of other guys out here on Youngstown State, not just me. You have our defense played an outstanding game, very outstanding game. And then once plays were meant to be made, there were a lot of other people on the offense that made those plays, outside of me.
Despite finishing the season 7-4, the football team season came to an end after not being voted into the FCS playoffs. Their 7 wins this season are the most for YSU since the 2016 FCS runner-up season. For Jambar.
The men's basketball team improved to 5-2 for the first time since the 2013-2014 season. Jambar reporter John Ostapowicz has more.
The men's basketball team continued its road stint November 19th through the 20th, taking on UC San Diego and Navy in the MTE Classic in Annapolis, Maryland at Alumni Hall. The Penguins started off the Classic with a win against the Tritons 73-54. The win marked head coach Jared Calhoun's 200th win of his career and moving him 4th place in program history with 76 wins. Calhoun said he didn't know he accomplished the milestone, but was more fond of the memories he has made throughout his career.
I didn't even realize it was win 200. I guess what comes to mind is a lot of a lot of memories, a lot of different venues, a lot of relationships.
In the game, 4 Penguins reached double figures in scoring, which was led by senior Dwayne Cohill and graduate student Adrian Nelson. The pair went to work with Cohill, putting up 18 points, and McBride with 16. On November 20th, YSU played in their first ever meeting against the Navy, but fell short 80-67. Despite the loss, graduate student Malik Green scored his 1,000th career point. Green said that this milestone was a great accomplishment.
It was good. I played a lot of basketball. I didn't really get into it that much. It's a big achievement, but it is what it is.
For the first time in nearly 21 years, the Penguins traveled to Macomb, Illinois on November 26th to take on their former Mid-Continent Conference opponent, Western Illinois, defeating the team 88-64. Offensively, Green tied a season high with 21 points on 9 of 13 shooting from the paint. With the wins, the Penguins headed to Highland Heights, Kentucky, December 1st to kick off conference play against Northern Kentucky. For more information, check out ysusports.com. The men's basketball team looks to finish its 5-game road stretch against Wright State December 4th as the Raiders sit atop of the Horizon League standings at 5-2. For Jambar TV, I'm John Ostapowicz.
As for the women's basketball team, they were defeated in 3 straight games prior to their return home. Executive producer Kyle Wills has more on their return.
After 3 straight road losses, the women's basketball team looked to end their losing streak when they returned home November 26th to take on St. Francis Brooklyn, defeating the Terriers 70-41. Junior Malia Magestro helped lead the team as she set a new career high in points with 24.
From Hermitage, Pennsylvania, number 2, 5'9", junior, Malia Magestro.
The Penguins struggled offensively in the previous matchups, unable to shoot above 32% from the field. However, YSU sent the crowd home happy, defeating St. Francis Brooklyn 70-41. Those offensive struggles continued for YSU as they fell 7-0 early, but went on a 10-point run to take the lead. The second and third quarters were all YSU as it outscored St. Francis Brooklyn 45-15 in the middle periods. YSU was great from beyond the three-point arc in the contest, as 13 of its 28 shots were able to fall. Defensively, the Penguins held the Terriers to just 30.6% shooting, along with forcing 17 turnovers. Head coach John Barnes said with the women building off the team's momentum, numerous players thrived in clutch moments.
It was definitely nice to see the lid come off of the basket a little bit for us. I mean, I think we've all been a little bit frustrated with our shooting. I felt like we've got good looks, but they just haven't been going in. And today, we started off making a few, and it was contagious, and a lot of players stepped up and made big shots.
Magestro finished the game with a career-high 24 points, shooting 9 of 16 from the floor and 6 of 12 from beyond the three-point line. Magestro said the inconsistencies on offense, the victory was a cornerstone with Horizon League play coming up.
We definitely needed this as a team. We've been struggling, obviously, from shooting, which normally isn't a thing for YSU. So I think we just kind of had to, find our game, and we knew it would come eventually. So I think this is really good for our confidence going into conference play.
The women's basketball team looked to stay in the winning column as they go back on the road to take on Northern Kentucky December 2nd at 7 p.m. and Wright State December 4th at 4 p.m. Both games can be listened to on 570 WKBN. For Jambar TV, I'm Kyle Wills.
The bowling team capped off their fall season with 2 events, starting with the Motive Lady Jack Classic in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and finishing in Millsboro, Delaware at the Eastern Shore Classic. In Wisconsin, the number 9 ranked Penguins finished 6th among 14 teams in the tournament. Junior Kirsten Moore led the way on the Penguins' best day as she knocked down a team-best 1,115 pins, good for 8th place for day 2. At the next tournament in Delaware, the Penguins were rolling as they finished 3rd among 18 teams. The 3rd day of the tournament was highlighted by 3 wins over ranked opponents as the Penguins knocked off the 5th, 10th, and 12th ranked teams in the nation. Head coach Doug Kuberski commented on what the team looks to improve on when the season continues.
Just continuing to be more consistent as a group, always working on team chemistry, just trying to elevate our team chemistry day in and day out. I think we're in a good spot, but again, little things to work on there. Our spare shooting, I think, just trying to be a little more consistent with that day to day. I think we have some days we're just really, really good, 95+% of our single pins, and some days we're in the 80s. So if we can, keep it above 90% day in and day out with our single pin spares, that's going to be a really good thing for us.
The team will not return to action until the new semester on January 20th at the Northeast Classic in Deptford, New Jersey, hosted by Long Island University and Sacred Heart University. For more information on the lanes, visit ysusports.com. The men and women's cross-country season has come to a close as the weather has cooled down. The team stayed hot, though, as the men claimed the Horizon League champions title for the first time since 2018. Seniors Chase Easterling and Morgan Cole, and juniors Ryan Meadow and Hunter Christopher flashed greatness all throughout the season. Cole was named Horizon League Women's Athlete of the Year, the first time a Penguin has won this distinction. Cole also became the first woman to win the individual Horizon League cross-country championship title. Head coach Brian Gorby was named the Men's Horizon League Coach of the Year, his 3rd time achieving this honor. The cross-country season may be over, but much of the roster will be transitioning to track and field. Their season kicks off today, December 2nd, hosting the YSU Icebreaker presented by Southwoods Health at the Watson and Tressel training site. And now we're going to send things back over to Cheyenne Gibbons with the weather recap.
This first weekend of December, we're going to see some cooler temps, high wind speeds, and some rain. It's unlikely we'll see any snow, but you'll want to look out for some ice.
Well, guys, Thanksgiving just ended, meaning that Christmas is right around the corner. Anything in particular that you guys wanted for the holiday?
Personally, I love candles, so I have those all around my apartment, so that would be what I would want.
I'm just hoping to get some more hair products and some makeup.
I'm a simple man. I don't need much.
I love that. I got a Switch, so I'll definitely be trying to get some games for that. And well, that is all the time that we have today for Jambar TV. Stay safe, Penguins.
Support for Jambar TV is provided in part by the YSU Foundation and the Jane F. Lamb Charitable Foundation. Thank you.